Hi, my name is Keith Charles, and I would like to share with you a little bit about myself, how it was, what happened, and how it is now. At a young age, first of all, I'm a Grenadian, born in Brush Grove, St. Andrews. And at 14, I had traveled and went to Chicago. And so I spent some time in Chicago. I went to high school in Chicago. And from that whole time, it seemed like, I always felt like I was different, like something, I was not quite as smart as I wanted to be. And I always thought that it seemed like something was missing inside. And at a young age, I started to drink alcohol. And, I used marijuana, and there was other drugs we experimented with and whatnot. But I spent some time in Chicago. I had real problems, and finally I ended up in the Washington, D.C. metropolitan area. And I was heavy on drugs and alcohol and them kind of things. And I was good at getting jobs, but I was not able to keep them. My addiction and alcoholism always got in the way. Finally, I was deported from the United States, and I came back to Grenada. I did very well for a while. I worked for a company for about 12 years straight, and I had stopped drinking somewhat at the time. And I had a relationship with a young lady, and we had a relationship for over 8 years. And at one point, things started to get tough. And at that time, it seemed like the job had slowed down, and they started to give us days off and stuff. And things got difficult, where I started to sort of take it on and try to, figure out, well, if this happened, if I was to lose my job, what would happen? Who would, how would I transit to another job? Because in Grenada, it seemed like it's not as easy to just get another job. And, me and my girlfriend was having problems. And I guess she probably figured she wanted a way out, and she decided to leave, and she got her papers, and she got the opportunity to go to the States. And so that left me by myself. And at that time, I started to run out of resources, and I decided, well, after a lot of thought, I thought about, well, with no money, no job, how am I going to make it? And I see people on the street begging and all kind of thing, and I became fearful of that. Like, would that happen to me? And if that was to happen to me, would I be able to be on the street begging? And I thought, no way, I couldn't do that, because some of my relatives that are here in Grenada, I thought that would sort of embarrass them, and I couldn't really do that and bring them to more shame than I already did. So I thought the solution was to commit suicide. I thought maybe it might hurt for a while, but eventually it would be all over. And so I had set a date, 2 weeks, and I had used up the rest of the resources I had. And as the time came near, I meditate on it, and I was fully convinced that was the solution. And when the time came, I had set up the platform on which I was going to do this act, which was a carrot case I turned upside down, and I had set up the rope, and I swung on it to make sure it would support my weight. And that final time came, and I went up, and I put the rope around my neck. And once I put the rope around my neck, I started to, this feeling came over me. And I started to pray and ask God to forgive me for what I'm about to do. And, it came to me, I thought that, I asked God, I thought that if there's any way that, that it's possible that I don't have to do this. I wish you could show me. And immediately, it seemed like the Spirit of God came upon me. And, I don't know what happened, but I felt very serene. I felt like I've never felt such peace. And this feeling came over me. And I felt like I didn't have to do it. Like the Spirit told me I didn't have to go through with this. It's okay now. I could come down. I don't know how long I stayed up in that position, maybe a half an hour or so. But finally, I was able to take the rope off and I came down. As soon as both feet landed on the floor, I fell to the ground. And the Spirit came upon me again. And the Spirit said to me, well, you have to go to church. And I said, okay, no problem. I'll go to the Catholic church up the road, where I was raised in that church. I went through First Communion, Confirmation at that church, and my grandmother went there, and that's where, if ever I wanted to go to church, that's where I would go. And so that was my first thought. And when I told the Spirit, well, I'll go there, the Spirit said that no, I cannot go there. So I said, well, okay, there's a Pentecostal church down the road. I said, I'll go there. Spirit said, no, you cannot go there either. So then I said, well, where else could I go? And then I saw the Adventist church. And I said, no way, I cannot go there. Because these people are weird. They go to church on Saturday when everybody goes on Sunday, And, the Spirit said to me that if I wanted to change, that's where I had to go. And that was the key word, because all of my life, I wanted to change where I could be comfortable within my own skin and to be able to just act like everybody else and express myself around people and these type of things, which I was having a hard time to. And once the Spirit said to me if I wanted to change, as the key word being change, I became excited and I said, well, yes, I'll go there. And at that point, I realized, well, okay, this is where I need to go. But then I started to think, well, how would I go there? Because all the time I was working, sometimes the people, the Adventist people pass by. They pass by my house several times. They invite me. I never wanted to go. I talked to them sometime. I talked to Brother Fenrick and Brother Charles used to come by too. I talked to them, just being nice because I know them in the community and I would talk to them. But I never intended to go. But when this thing happened now, so now I'm thinking, how would I start going now, because I'm not working anymore and I have no income, I have no resources, I'm in a terrible state, so I really don't want to go. So, I don't want to go in that condition. So I meditate on it the whole night, and like the morning, the early that morning, I heard a voice call me, call out, Keith. And for a moment, I was thinking, well, maybe I'm hearing voice again, And then I said, no, this sounds too clear. And I peeped out the window and I saw someone coming up the hill. And I went to get a better look and I realized it was my cousin. And I haven't seen him for quite some time. He don't usually come up to my place. And he was hustling coming up the hill. And I tried to get myself together. And when he came up on the veranda, he told me, he seemed like he was in haste, and he said that his boss is looking for a couple of men to work. He doesn't know if I want to work security, but this is the case. Am I interested? I said, yes, I am. And he told me, well, I'm supposed to call the boss. He gave me the number and everything. And so I told him, well, I had no money. And he reached down in his pocket, he pulled out some money, he gave me $50, and I pursued this information. And next thing you know, I started working. And like after I worked, let's say after this thing happened, I started working maybe, I think about 4 or 5 days later. And the second day, I started work, let's see, I think I started work the Friday. So like I worked the Friday, Saturday, I said, well, there's no way I'm going I don't want to start going to church on the Sabbath, because that's when everybody going and it's a big deal. So I prefer start going like on a weekday and then work my way up to the Sabbath. And I think I went the Sunday night. The Sunday night was my first night. And when I went the Sunday night, they announced, the service was wonderful. I enjoyed it. You know, the people came up to me, asked me who I was, and you know, they greeted me and everything. And you know, they announced that they were having a week of revival. You know, the whole week they were having service. And that was great. I went the whole week. I didn't miss a time. I was early all the time. And you know, I had decided at that time that my usual self is when I go to something like this, I would sit in the back and just kind of try to blend in, sort of like almost like being invisible, where, you know, I could just sit in and not be noticed, not be called on for anything, you know. But I had decided that, you know, there no more would I want to be that way, because, you know, that way seemed like didn't work for me. And so I decided that I would always try to sit up front, and I would try to listen and try to find out, try to learn, you know, and pay attention. Whatever they were talking about, whatever they were teaching, I would pay attention and try to do my best. And you know, it went on, and I started the beginners class from the quarterly. I did the 4 quarters of the beginners quarterly, and I find it was very interested. I did my homework. When you know, I studied what I was supposed to study, then I tried to discuss with the elder that was doing the beginners class. Sometimes there was 3 of us, sometimes there was 4 of us, then it went back to me alone. It went up a few, then it went back down. And you know, so I hang in there. And I think after maybe 2 or 3 months, then I asked the elder, I told him that I wanted to get baptized. And he told me there was a crusade coming up. And so if I wanted to wait, I could wait until they were baptizing at the crusade. Or if I had the need where I wanted to be baptized right away, then they could also do that. But I told him I'll wait until the crusade was baptizing. And so when I think it was like about the week before the crusade started, you know, I was still, I mean, I had to be honest, I was still smoking. I was still smoking a cigarette. I had been smoking for many years, and you know, I had given up alcohol and everything else, but I did smoke still. And you know, it wasn't as much, but you know, I was smoking, and I told the elder, well, I'm still smoking, you know. And he said something like, you know, well, you know, just continue to try to give it up. And you know, I had give up quite a lot, he said, and you know, to just give up everything at one time, maybe, you know, don't focus on it too much, but just keep on trying to give it up. And so I said, well, you know, it's time I exercise a little faith. And I prayed about it, and I said, well, I'm not going to smoke that the next day. Then when I got up the next morning, I said, well, I'm not going to smoke that day. And you know, I went through the whole day. I pray and meditate, and I went through the whole day. Then 2 days passed, 3 days passed, and then, you know, I just felt like this big weight was lifted off of me, and I was able to give up the cigarette one time too. But the whole thing is that at that change that happened, some of the things that seemed like was very hard for me to do, it became easier. Like one of the things was my reading skills were very poor, you know, and because as a result of that, I didn't like to read. I avoid reading, especially in public. You couldn't get me to do that. But as I became an Adventist, I think I was fully converted that day when I came down off of that gallows that I had built. When I came down, I feel that I was a fully converted Adventist, and things has not changed. Now it's been over 3 years. But the thing is that when this thing had happened, it seemed like something in me changed, where every piece of literature I get, I was trying to read it, and trying to read it with fluency and stuff like that. And I was reading a quarterly when I was at my first security assignment. I'm a security guard, and so when I was at my first assignment, I was reading a quarterly, and they had at the back of it, they had a write-up of Miss Ellen White, that she commented on some issues. And I was reading that, and I was so inspired by it. There was a lady that used to pass by. She also is a Christian of a different faith, and we used to talk. And I told her that I was reading this information from Sister White, and I am so inspired. And she gave me some negative feedback. And I was like, and she was telling me that I shouldn't read that stuff. And that even inspired me more to continue to read. And as I continue to read her writings, it has helped me so much. It has helped me to understand the scripture a lot better. And it has just gave me a wealth of knowledge where I am able to conduct myself in a better way. I feel more confident. I could go up, and if they ask me to do something in the church, to read something, to do whatever, I feel more confidence in doing whatever it is that I have to do. I read my Bible every day. I do my devotion, and I read as much as I could. And today I am so excited. I'm so happy that I never thought that I could feel this way within myself. That I am not so much worried about what other people think of me. And if I was to go up and try to do something, what people gonna say and everything like that. Today I am concerned that that I should do my best, and I should try to do things in a way that's appropriate and and decent. But I am not overwhelmed with the idea of how other people would think of me. I am satisfied with I could do my best, and I could feel okay about that, I mean that I have come a long way from how I used to be, and God has changed me, and I am so grateful. I couldn't do this myself. For all these years, I thought that the Adventist Church was just a bunch of was like a cult. I mean, I did tell someone that at one time, a few years back, when someone had asked my opinion, or we were discussing something, and I said that they want you to do this and don't do that, and and so it's now. I mean, I didn't know any better, and I thought that you could get to heaven by just doing the best you can. I mean, I was always a nice guy, I thought, and I never really meant to harm anyone. Most of the things that I did, like being an addict and an alcoholic, I felt was just hurting myself, but I really never hurt anyone. But I felt that I had some good intentions, and I back in the States, when I was out there, I heard someone had said to me, that the road to hell is paved with a lot of good intentions, and now I understand what that meant, because now my good intention cannot get me to heaven. I need to be obedient to the will of God. I accept the grace of God. I'm saved by the grace, and through faith, and then that doesn't mean that I just accept that and sit back. Now I need to be obedient to the will of God. I need to be aware of what God wants me to do, you know. And so like Christ is our example, Jesus Christ is our example, and you know, we try to do the things that he did. You know, he kept his Father's law, and then so we are supposed to keep the same law also. And you know, we are not saved by the law by no means, but after we accept the grace through faith, then we need to stay away from sin, and we need to stay clear and be obedient to God. And you know, that has changed my life, and you know, I want to encourage everyone to do the same, because you know, we are just passing through. And you know, I always thought that if I was to become a Christian, I don't want to be a type of Christian that I'm in the church but I'm doing the same thing that I was doing out on the street. You know, I would say that you know, if I was to be doing something like that, I wish I would be able to do it wholeheartedly. Urge people to say, you know, that you need to let God be, you know, the head of your life. Because I mean, for all these years, I had tried to manage my own life. I had tried to be the, you know, the one that's the master of my own destiny, you might say. And you know, it got me at the end of a rope. I did my best, and that's where it had me. And so then now, you know, I'm letting God, you know, be the head of my life. And you know, I don't have a whole bunch of things, you know, but I am much happier. And today, you know, I feel better about myself. And you know, it was the best decision that I ever made, you know. And I want everybody to know that you know, this is not a simple thing. And you know, we all need to turn to God, because I mean, we have a short time on this earth. And if the thing I was saying, if I was to go through all this problem here on earth and then to go and perish, that would be a tragedy. And so, you know, sometimes we fall short, but we have to know that, you know, like Scripture says that we could go boldly through the throne of grace. That's what Christ is there for. That doesn't mean we have to just live in sin and every day we repenting. But, you know, when we do fall, we know that we could go to the throne of grace. And that's why, you know, God is a wonderful and mighty God. And he has done everything possible so that he could elevate human beings back to his level. And so, you know, with all that, I just want to encourage everyone to let God do for us what we couldn't do for ourselves. Peace.